Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from the channel Redolescence, and thank you so much for tuning in. And in today's episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at a fragrance by the company Comme des Garcons, and this one is called Blue Encens, so stay tuned. Before I start the review, I do want to mention that this fragrance was sent to me for review by MaxAroma.com. I'm going to leave all the links down below to where you can check it out. They have really great deals. I've used them in the past and I totally trust them. But just because the fragrance was sent to me for free has no bearing or influence on my personal opinion. Now, this fragrance was released in 2013 and it's part of a collection of 3 fragrances, all with blue in the name. So there's Blue Encens, Blue Santal, and Blue Cedrat, and all of them wanted to combine a luxurious warmth with the freshness of the sea. Now, my experience with Comme des Garcons goes back to, I think, 2011. I remember trying fragrances like Comme des Garcons Eau de Parfum, which smells like industrial glue and packing tape. So that was really my introduction into the niche realm, and it just showed me how avant-garde, how different, how unique, and how artistic these fragrances can be. So I'm really excited to talk to you about their interpretation of Encens, but let's go ahead and start off the review by taking a closer look at the presentation. So the presentation for this fragrance is pretty cool. You're going to get that fade from dark blue at the very top to white at the bottom. It just says Blue Encens here on the front. Eau de Parfum is a concentration, and it can be had for one size, which is 100 milliliters. Now here's a bottle, very unique shape. Just take note of the fact that it will not stand up on its own, so you do need to lean it against something. I also want to mention that the serial number can be located on the neck of the atomizer, so if you're having a hard time locating it, that's where you can find it. And also the distribution on the atomizer is a little bit narrow, but it gets the job done. And let's go ahead and continue with the smell. So this is yet another incense fragrance by the brand Comme des Garcons. For those of you who don't know, they actually have an incense series. They have Incense Avignon, Incense Kyoto, Incense Jaisalmer. There are a lot of fragrances within that line. And this is yet another incense-based fragrance, and Comme des Garcons does incense very well. Here they have a very mysterious incense note, but they combine it with Artemisia, which is also known as wormwood, which can be found in fragrances like Memoir Man by Amouage. It's a very interesting note. It has a green earthiness about it, but this one also has an accord of amber that you get in the dry down. There is this unusual fresh quality about it that I really seem to enjoy, and I think the overall blend is something very peppery, very spicy, but then there's an undertone of freshness, which is a really weird contradiction, but it somehow works really, really well in this fragrance. Now, when I smelled this fragrance for the first time, I thought I was smelling another release from this company, which is composed by Mark Buxton, and it's called Comme des Garcons Two Man. That fragrance also smells like Vetiver 46 by Le Labo, which is also composed by Mark Buxton, and there's also a discontinued Gucci fragrance called Gucci Pour Homme 1, which is in that same family. It's very woodsy, it's peppery, it's incensey, but the thing that really separates this fragrance apart is that it does have that undercurrent of freshness, which I really enjoy. And when you take these notes that are really hard to get along with, the incense, the amber, the pepper, it can come off smelling very spicy, very smoky, but somehow the wearability of this fragrance is really amped up as far as if you were to compare it to other fragrances or other offerings from the line. Now, it's not realistic incense in the regard of Incense Avignon, which is like true olibanum or frankincense. This is more smoky than anything else. When you smell it, it does smell incensey, but you have a hard time pinpointing the exact resin that's at play here. But I think the overall blend on this one is incredible. Finally happy to have this in my collection, so thank you once again to Max Aroma. Let's go ahead and finish off the review by taking a closer look at my overall assessment. Now, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I do think this is a unique scent, despite the fact that I was able to make some comparisons to other fragrances earlier on in this review. But the thing that, once again, makes this fragrance stand apart from other fragrances is that undercurrent of freshness. As far as the overall smell, I personally love it. I think it's very intriguing to the wearer, but also to the passerby, but it is on the challenging side, so please take note of that. As far as the longevity, it's pretty good. I got 6 to 7 hours. Projection on this one was really good for the first 2 hours, and then it did start to sit closer to the skin, but when I wore it, I did get noticed. Versatility on this one might be compromised just a little bit. I think this would work really well in the colder weather. The composition really evokes that feel. I think this one, however, would be best suited for somebody who's a little bit older. I can't really see a teenager wearing this in high school. Unless that's your style, then definitely take what I say with a grain of salt. These are just recommendations, and I think this one does lean a little bit masculine, but at the end of the day, wear what you like, not what other people say you should wear, right? Shout out to Lanier Smith. He always says something along those lines. And then presentation on this one is, I think, gorgeous. I really like their bottles, although it's really hard to present them. It's really hard to stand it up, so I had to do a little makeshift presentation here. But all in all, my overall, final verdict on the fragrance is that I love it. I love this fragrance. It hasn't become one of my favorites yet, but it's really high up there because I think it's a great fragrance. It's kind of easy to wear, all the while still being challenging. There's a uniqueness about it. It has that Comme des Garçons DNA, and it's a fragrance that is going to set you apart, and you're not going to smell like everybody else, and I really appreciate that. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate your support. If you own or have tried any Comme des Garçons fragrance, or this one in specific, let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to subscribe for future videos, and remember to enable notifications by clicking on that little bell. This way you never miss any of my future content. Thanks again for tuning in. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care.